aspect of it wasn't a big deal at that time, and I taught for, Park and Rec at Reading.
Yeah.
And I kept expanding and expanding, and then I rented a little spot. You always want to watch your overhead, you want to watch your overhead, but I was pushed into it like the back door, And then I got divorced, so then karate was no longer like a hobby or something fun, and I didn't have to worry about finances. I had to look at it, okay, this is a financial thing too. So I kept expanding, and I did it out of my house. Bye-bye, take care.
Yeah, I was just telling Sarah how lovely that space was just to be in. And this is also quite lovely because I wanted to see, the difference between your house and now this new space.
Thanks. Well, it's funny because in 2007, Tracy and myself came together, and we came together for the business of Kindred Spirits Wellness Center.
Yeah.
And that's where we do Reiki, and we teach healing, and we go that other aspect, which the martial arts talks about, like Tai Chi, Qigong, energy, right? It's about energy. So the two kind of start to come together, the two businesses, but there is separate business. Karate is me, and Kindred Spirits is both of us. And, my goal, I guess when I was 14, I had an incident happen when I was young, and, two of my friends were abducted and they were killed. And
I had no idea.
Yeah, that's what pushed me, and I vowed.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, thanks.
Oh my goodness.
So it really freaked me out because there was two of them, and they were kidnapped and everything. So from 14, I said, I'm going to grow up, teach women and children how to defend themselves. I said it when I was like 14 or 15. So I always trained. Like, I went to martial arts classes, and I always trained. And then, I had my kids. I worked at a corporation. And then when I moved up here, and it's actually in this building, there was a karate studio called White Tiger. And it was Kempo. And I came here, and I brought the kids here, because I want my kids to really know. And the guy said, instead of sitting here waiting for your kids, come train with, help me.
That's awesome.
So some of the children here went to Reading. And I guess they told their parents how much they liked working with me. And then they must have called Park and Rec. They said, we have a new instructor for you. And they said, we heard great things about you. I wasn't even a black belt yet. So that's when I started the Reading Park and Rec in 1999. And so I've been with the karate and teaching. So I laugh because you never know when you make a vow when you're a kid, how it will unfold your life. So
definitely.
And then in 2007, I owned 3 curves. I started because I always believed in fitness and health and everything, but business-wise, that was horrible because they flooded the market, and most of the curves owners we went bankrupt. We went under because they flooded the market. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
And honestly, that for me was very hard. Customer service is very hard.
Definitely.
You had women who, it's too hot, it's too cold, I don't like the music. And I wanted to help people and everything, but then I realized I was like this, oh
That's
my
kinda,
God.
getting into the nitty gritty of things.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to even go to work.
Yeah.
Because I want to help people, but that to me, I didn't feel like I was helping anybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, then I met Tracy because her son took karate, and we would talk. And then I literally, to be honest with you, to get Kindred Spirits, I went on a week retreat with myself, and I kept praying, what should I do, because my business failed, and I had 2 kids, and I lost all my money in curves. I was like, what do you want me to do? And then I my cousin, who was very, very, like, my spiritual mentor at the time, she said, when you're blocked, write a letter to God. Dear God. And I went, dear God, should I give up karate? No. Dear God, should I let go of curves? Yes. And I'm like, I can't make enough money on karate, blah, blah. I'm like having a debate with God,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I heard wellness center and workshops and healing. She loves this story. And, right? Because Tracy would call me every day. Did you get your message? Did you get your message? She'd call me every day because she knew I was by myself, and she was home with her sister and her child and everything. And so anyway, I went out on a Sunday, and on Wednesday.
Hey, Tracy, would you sit with us too? Would you like doing that? I don't want to stress you out, but it seems like you guys are kind of in it together. I feel like we could get 2
Perspectives.
2 perspectives, if you don't mind me throwing that on you.
So anyway, that's how we formed Kindred Spirits. Now, if you want to know the struggles, financially.
You're answering all of the questions I've prepared. Keep
yeah.
going, keep going.
Well, it was great because when you said that, because it's good and bad. Owning your own business is terrifying. When I was married, like I said, the money aspect wasn't a big deal, but when you don't have that other income and you're living off your business, you never know month to month what's coming in, so you have to kind of gauge what your expenses are, what's coming in, and you still have your living expenses. So like we lived out of the house. You saw us working out of the house for a while, and it was getting harder and harder. And, with what we do, karate is tangible.
Yeah.
I do healing work. I do Reiki. I teach Reiki, and trying to get your market, I guess. And now with Facebook, we market that way. But newspapers, we put ads in newspapers, spending money. People don't read the papers anymore. So marketing, if you want to put that in your notes, marketing is very hard today.
Yeah.
It's either word of mouth, and then you need a good Facebook crowd. Newsletters, we have like a website, and newsletters, when they go out, you can see how many people open them. So if you're lucky, if you get you're lucky if you get like a third of your people who subscribe to your newsletter open them, because look how busy the world is. So unless you have something really catches their eye, like we're doing this, or something that grabs them and pulls them in, is very difficult. And the laws are different. Like years ago, you could put flyers on people's cars. You can get in trouble for that now. If I went to the high school and tried to advertise, they won't do. They'll do charities. They'll allow advertising, fundraising, and charities, but not for a business. They won't help your business.
It's soliciting. They look at it as soliciting.
Really?
So how do I get my self-defense class out to you? How do I tell you I have this great energy workshop that you both should come to? You'll love it. I'll give it to you now so I don't forget. You'll love this. I'm trying to, and honestly, if you guys come, you could be my guest. You wouldn't even have to pay. No, I'm serious.
Are you sure?
The thing that I would like most, if you're wowed by it, because I believe you're going to be wowed by it, because we've been doing this and it's huge.
Yeah.
If you're wowed by it, and get me to the schools, because I want to help your age group. I want to help them to educate them on thinking positive and your own powerful energy. We always think we have to go outside ourselves, but it's learning to tap into your own.
Definitely.
It's really cool. So you both are my visitors. So if you come, my guest. I'm sorry. I'm all excited.
You can visit too and be guests.
She keeps me grounded. I get all like.
I'd love you guys to sort of speak on the partner, like the business partnership that you formed, like how that came about, how you structured your classes model versus the wellness center business model, and how sometimes those come together.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm very interested.
The first studio we had a great room, like a big room like this, but then it had office space and rooms for healing.
Cool.
It was really cool. I'm sorry. Then the house had the same thing. Like Tracy could have clients while I taught karate, because she can be in another part of the house.
Cool.
So as you know, I sold the house, so it's very expensive rent around here, especially.
Definitely.
So like, although this is great for karate, it doesn't even have an office. So that hurt us. We had a space in the back that we shared with another person who did yoga and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
And I don't even know if it lasted.
We would have complemented each other, but our schedules, it was the scheduling piece of it. So there was differences in our schedules, and then the timing and clients coming in and classes being held, so it became difficult. So we moved Kindred Spirits up here in the front, and trying to manage it is a little tricky at times.
Yeah.
Because we're in constant communication. Do you have a client? Do you have a client? And I have karate class. I have it's the ins and outs on a daily basis that you have to really look at all the time.
Cool.
We share a Google Calendar. So
Yeah.
like we're constantly, as soon as something's up, we'll put it right on there, so she can look at the calendar, I can look at the calendar. So, our ultimate goal is if we could have found a place that we could do both again with ease, because right
Yeah.
now it's challenging, but then you have to look at the financial piece of it. And that's challenging.
Definitely.
It is. I wish I could tell you it's fantastic and we love it. And I mean, I've been teaching karate 20 years and we've had the Holistic Center for 12.
Cool.
We've learned tremendous amounts of things. This isn't our only location. Like, I teach the after-school program in Reading. I teach
cool.
after-school program in Newtown. I teach it in Bethel. So, like, I'm out and about. So you think people are going to come here, but you really, when you own your own business, you have to put yourself out there.
Definitely.
So, and it's, thank God, I mean, you have to have good energy and you have to
Yes.
be focused.
Stay positive about, because
We almost quit a couple times, like where we were about to say
Oh.
we're done, and then something awesome would happen. Someone would come in and say, we want you to do this, or this is happening. And we're like, oh, we got through another month.
The karate, like June was saying, is much more tangible than the holistic piece that we do. People really, it's not a tangible thing to understand energy. You
Yeah,
have to
for sure.
You have to experience
I
it.
know a lot of people aren't kind of on board with it because they can't see it, like you said.
Right, it's not tangible, and how do I take that with me?
Yeah,
the
for
karate
sure.
piece you can take with you. Oh, I learned how to do this kempo, or this combination or this form. But with the energy work and that sort of thing that we do, and the counseling piece of it, it's on a different level, really. It's about, like June said, coming back to what your truth is and being okay with it, and sort of living in that place of love versus fear.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of, I'm afraid of what's going to happen to you, who's going to say something to me, and I know the kids, they're young adults, right, have to deal with that all the time, and you have to really be very secure in yourself to be able to manage your days, I'm sure. So doing the holistic piece of it, the energy piece of it, takes a little bit more energy and time and effort, and people don't always get it because they are where they are. So we meet them where they are and work with them. Most people that come are in a place of great need at that point in time, where they're sort of floundering, or they're having a crisis in their life. People have lost children, they've lost parents, they've lost siblings, friends, that sort of thing.
A lot of
Right.
divorces.
Yeah.
So it's
so it's a lot.
right.
Yeah.
It's a crisis.
So
a lot
people
of
our
times.
age, you figure, so it must be hard, like you're coming up the ranks, right? And you want to go out in our world, you probably feel it. I mean, do you feel the heaviness of do you feel it?
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
What grade are you in?
We're both
Seniors.
seniors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know
so
where
you're
you're
finishing your last leg of Barlow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know where you're
Indeed.
headed? Do you know where? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you headed?
I'm going to UCLA.
Whoa!
Oh, that's
Yay.
fantastic.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you.
gonna be going to Salve Regina in
Where's that?
Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
That's so
very
cool
nice.
too. Congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Yeah.
I never graduated from college. My children did. So it was really, every campus I go on, I get goosebumps. I do, because I know Tracy has attended college. So good for you guys. Suck it up, learn everything you can. Today's world is different. When I was coming up the ranks, you can go college bound or business bound. They
Yep.
have business courses or college, but I don't think that's an option today, right?
Yeah, it's definitely more college oriented, I'd say.
I think Barlow definitely is, and it's sort of like that's a prep school.
It's a
for
college
Mhm.
prep school. Yep. Yeah.
My daughter, who graduated Notre Dame in Indiana,
Oh wow.
she said, Mom, Barlow's English class was harder than her English class at University of Notre Dame. She got honors in English, graduating out of that school with honors in
Yeah.
English, and she swore by what Barlow put her
No,
through.
our Barlow English curriculum, for all of its faults, it makes you.
a much better writer.
Yeah, agreed.
It's a lot of work. I understand.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been a little hard. We're both in AP Lit, so.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Way to go! Oh
we
my
we
gosh.
just took our exam, so the AP exam, so that's over and done with. But now we have to finish up these graduation requirement pieces, which are just a pain in the butt because it's like we want to be done with it. You finish the AP, you're like, oh, I want to relax, but we have to do like a speak out, so we have to do a speech about what we're passionate about, and then we have to do a synthesis paper where we take so many sources that we learned through English and, you know, synthesize a big idea, and so it's a lot in our final weeks of school, but we'll get through it.
Oh, you're videotaping? She's videotaping.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Sarah was, she snuck it up.
Yeah.
No, we just,
Very discreetly. I didn't
Yeah,
even,
no.
I was waiting for, I said, I think they're videotaping. She did tell me.
yeah, because
Can
we're,
you edit it?
yeah, we're
Yes.
gonna edit it and, you know, clip it together,
Mhm.
just so that, you know, we get the different perspectives of the different women we're interviewing and sort of the idea of what they're trying to do in each of their businesses. So, yeah, it's been really good so far. I've learned so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if the other women, you know, I think for us, it's all about making a difference in someone's life, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's
Wow.
one person or a group. Sorry, I gotta get that.
We have an event tomorrow night. We have like 40 people coming.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Mhm.
So we, some weeks I work my normal schedule, and some weeks I work 7 days a week. So when I get a day off, it's like a big treat.
Cool. Yeah, we were actually gonna ask about like what a typical day is like for you.
Yeah, a typical day, like, I have to get up in the morning and say, okay, what's on my calendar? And where am I supposed to be? Because if you have a snow day, then I don't have the after-school programs.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I have to be here. I also teach Tai Chi in 3 different towns. So I literally have to say, okay, where am I supposed to be today and what times to make sure I get everywhere. And,
You're welcome. See you tomorrow.
you know, so
Bye-bye.
it's challenging, but it's fun. And then when it's a snow day and everything, I'm lucky because I'm saying, if I didn't have my own business, I could be like people were stuck in traffic or at work or whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel lucky. And then holidays, if you know we take a day off or close the studio, I could be home with my family, you know, for the holidays, which is I feel blessed with that. You know, it's exciting. She's asked what a typical day is like. Now my day is a little different than Tracy's day because I have the karate and the Tai Chi and all that.
Yeah.
And then if we have the other piece of the business. And like I said, the hardest part is Tracy can be super busy one week. And then the next week she might be slow. And that's what's hard to manage your life if you're uncertain of the income coming in.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
you have to, like, you know, if you get a paycheck every 2 weeks, you say, okay, this is what I make, these are my expenses, there you go. You know, but in this case, I could have a month that's unbelievable and new signups and great things happen, then a month where, okay, it's summer and everybody took the month off or,
They're going
Right,
from
yeah.
pillar to
Way.
post, yeah.
so that's the most challenging part. There's no, you know, there's no
rhyme or reason.
Yeah, there's no, you know, you got to learn how to budget. You have to learn how to be okay, you know, what your true expenses are and
Definitely.
think twice, which is, you know, that's challenging, I have to say.
Yeah, no, it sounds very challenging because you're not only managing this budget, but you're managing your own personal budgets, right?
Right.
And how, you know, what expenses your families need, and yeah.
And the hardest thing is, it seems like everything goes up. My rent goes up.
Oh yeah.
The electric goes up.
The gas.
Everything
Goes up,
increases.
yep.
Everything increases, and it's like, you know, then you know
What?
that
What?
funnels down to now I gotta raise my rates a little bit, and you know you're always trying to find that balance, and
Right.
you know, it's a customer service job, so it's challenging, but you know when
It's rewarding. It's
Yeah.
rewarding for all of the obstacles that are put in our path. It still is very, very rewarding, especially when, you know, you see a child get a move and understand something, and the child lights up like, I did it, you know, or even an adult for that matter. And on the flip side, with the holistic side of it, when somebody has this like breakthrough or this aha moment, like, I get it. Oh my gosh, look at my behavior. Look at that pattern that I kept doing and doing, and I finally realized that I could shift it and change it and be different and make myself happy. That's what's so rewarding all the time.
We had a woman, this is going back years ago. She was only 60-something years old, and she had a lot of health issues. To me, she was young, but I'm gonna be 60. But we used to have to help her on the table, and we used to do healings together. And every time she had a healing, she would do better and better and feel better.
That's really cool.
Oh, and then one day she goes,
fantastic.
I'm ready for, we do a modality called Rising Star. It's a very powerful healing too. And the energy was incredible. Now, we used to have to help her on the table and help her down and really be gentle with her. Anyway, her leg was moving, her breathing was like she couldn't breathe, and it made me nervous at first. And then, anyway, when it was over, she's like, what the heck was that? And I go, a lot of energy here for you. And you're just sending energy, and if you come and experience the energy workshop, you'll feel it and experience it. But after that, I had to go out of the room. Came back, she was off the table, she had her shoes on, she goes, I don't know what you did, I feel terrific. And she went home and she called us up, she goes, my husband rubbed, because she used to put liniment on her hip because it was out of place, her hip was back in place.
You're kidding.
She got a dog, she lost 20 pounds, and we never saw her again.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
fantastic.
Oh,
It was,
what a
she's one
success
of our,
story.
yeah, she's one of our testimonies on her website.
That's really cool.
It was miraculous, and it's humbling. Like, it's not like, oh, I did that. There's energy here for healing for all of us, and I think that's what's so exciting, because it's not some distant, far off place. It's here to support us, and that's what we try to teach people. There's so much more. We only think this is our little world, but our world is way big.
Yeah, sure.
And there's so many paths and options and experiences and help along the way. So, yeah, I have to say what Tracy said. It's very humbling, but it's rewarding, and how do you put a price on that? Like, how do you, like if somebody's gonna come in and they come in, they're so drained and tired, and they get a healing and their whole face lights up and they look better and they're ready to face tomorrow, then you know that you did something.
Definitely. Well, I think you might have answered it, but I was going to ask what your favorite part of your jobs are. So,
Yeah.
kind of sounds like you're leaning that way.
Yeah, because that's not even, like, of course you need money to survive in this world, but
Yeah.
we used to also do Reiki down in Norwalk Hospital for people fighting cancer,
Yeah.
and that's probably, like, one lady, she said she cried for the first time in 3 months, and she goes, I could feel the energy, I feel so good. And she asked, she goes, she asked, why do you do this? I said, this is why. Because like, she was like a totally different person. She wasn't afraid anymore. She was feeling better. She's coming to the finish line. She felt the energy, so she knew there was more, not that like God was abandoned her or something. I'll never forget that day, because it was powerful between the two of us, and that I walked around like, wow. Yeah, so for me, and the whole self-defense, I had a mother call me once, and she goes, Sensei June, because her son was being bullied. Sensei June, my son did that move, where you step back and you block. Did you ever take my self-defense?
No, I haven't, but I know the move.
Yeah.
Ronan used to show me all of his moves.
Yeah, if anybody tried to grab you or push you over, you step back and you block. And I guess the mom saw her son do it, because these bullies used to pick on him, and he stopped the person from knocking him over. She was so good. I was happy for the mom and for the child.
Yeah, of course.
And it doesn't mean that you have to fight everybody, but you still have the permission to defend yourself, right?
For sure.
So yeah, I do love what I do. There's tough days where I'll say to you, or I say, I wish I won the lottery,
Yeah, of course.
But overall, it's really good. It's challenging too as I get older, because I have to stay in shape, and I'm not going to tell you to do 20 push-ups if I can't. So maintaining health and
that's
yeah.
You have a high standard for yourself.
Yes, if I can't make my students do something that
No, that's pretty I'd say that's quite fair of you.
You do it, sensei.
I wanted to ask how the transition from your previous dojo to this new location has been. Like, do you find that there's benefits in getting this car traffic, or what are the positives and what are the negatives of this, having this new space?
Well, the positive was I was close to Reading, who most people know me from Reading.
Yeah.
I am getting some outside people. I think the most challenging thing is I don't have a junior black belt program because I don't believe in them. And a lot of local schools do that, which is basically they push the kids up the ranks and they're not learning stuff, and it's much more expensive, and they test them, and it's like instant gratification, where for me the martial arts is I don't want to do that. It becomes muscle memory, so I know
it's about
somebody
building the skills.
Right, and martial arts I've been doing it 40 years, and there's always more to learn. You're learning self-discipline, you're learning about your body.
Yeah.
But, the whole, like in Asia, there's no belts. Belts help me to say, okay, you're an orange belt, I should teach you this. You're a blue belt, I need to teach you this. It's really for me. But you could be a blue belt, but you could be stronger and better in the skill than this blue belt. Like, you know more of the moves, but you have more natural gifts that you move, and you're stronger than this other person. So some people get caught up with the belts and the ranks, and to me it's each individual and what they're learning and how they move their body, and it's a whole journey of knowing your body. For sure. So that's important to me. Like I said, I don't believe in instant gratification or junior black belts. A black belt is you've mastered a whole set of things, and now the journey begins, because once you're a black belt, now there's other degrees of black belt.
Yes, definitely.
And it's an art form, so it's not like I'm a black belt now, so watch out, And if I love it. I love doing forms. I love the moves. Like when I learn a new move, I can't wait to show my students, and I can't wait because when it moves and it's so easy, and the history, I studied the history behind the martial arts, because over in Asia it was outlawed when they had communism take over or a new emperor. It was outlawed. So if people were practicing or training, they would arrest them or kill them. You could die for training because they were afraid of a civil uprising. So, like, how you see Tai Chi and it's so beautiful, it's a martial arts form. But when that really came about, so they could practice and not be arrested, so they said, we're dancing.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's all karate moves, done very gently. So it's good, and Tracy's back to training. You got to get your dad back to training.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but he's like, I need to come back. He does need to come back. I think he really liked it.
He was great, and we have a great adult community, and like I said, tell him that Tracy's back, because he'll laugh, because your dad got up to blue belt. I think he blue or blue stripe before they moved.
He was good.
Yeah, his dad used to come with Ronan. And Ronan was funny.
I didn't know he got that far,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah, he got that far. He was good. He worked hard, and Ronan was done. And he's like, come on, Ronan. So Ronan did his final tournament. He took first place in forms, first place in sparring, and he quit. He just quit. I think he even did a weapons form. I think he might have done the bow staff, too.
Yeah, he was finished.
We talk about karate with Ronan all the time. He just kind of shuts down. He was so good at it. But I don't know, something just... I was talking to my mom in the car. I'm like, I'm going to see Sensei in June. I wish Ronan would do karate again. But, yeah, I don't know.
You go through stages.
Yeah.
I always did it, but then I had kids. Life sometimes puts it on the back burner, but I think, too, with his other sports, and I know your lives are demanding, like with homework. So it's hard to me, if you do martial arts, it complements every other sport. Because you're really learning how to use your energy and use your body.
Sure.
I hope one day he comes back. You never know.
Me too.
Know?
Yeah. But
maybe you guys will come.
Yeah, mention it to my dad, because he. Plus, with like his
His cholesterol,
yeah,
or high blood pressure,
his diabetes issues, like it would benefit him so much. But yeah, no, like you were saying, the hectic nature of our lives just makes. Yeah. makes people put health on the back burner, but
Yeah. And maybe the yoga and the healing, and we do meditation, all that's coming. It's more mainstream. It's more popular.
For
And
sure.
Corporations we've been invited into corporations to do a healing day, and we see, oh my gosh, sometimes we get there at 9 and we see people till the end of work and we haven't had a real break. Like, we're like,
oh, wow.
and they love it, they love it, they feel it. So I'm glad that, corporations are more open to it. Like, they
Definitely.
have health centers where they do Tai Chi or yoga or meditation. So, and Tracy does meditation at the elementary school after school program. So just to give people tools,
No, yeah, I think meditation is such a, what's the word? Just it's great to, center yourself. Like my chorus teacher used to do meditation with us much more last year, but this year we've kind of been just, jam-packed with all of these pieces. But it was just so, like, sometimes she could sense that the room was just so
Heavy.
stressed and heavy. And it was just, like, once I remember I started crying. Like, it was granted, the newest president had been elected, so everyone was just, out of sorts. But, like, when we did the meditation, it just made me feel, like, I was just so emotional that day. So, no, I really like meditation.
Yeah.
And I wish a lot more teachers would use it just maybe, like, once a week. Just
Even
to
10
help their
minutes,
students.
you know.
Exactly. It just helps ground you more.
Right, and just to center everybody.
Yeah.
Because we are energetically connected, so if you all come into a classroom, right?
Yeah.
You have, 20-something kids with
Yeah.
all different levels where they are, but if you bring everybody down
Oh, yeah.
and bring everybody centered, you'll get more out of your
That's
class.
actually a really great point. Yeah.
Yeah, because I even notice that when I teach a class, I get like 10 kids after school, whatever. But if you have one who's here and the other one's there,
Yeah.
you have to kind of bring them in and just take a couple deep breaths, close your eyes, let's focus on karate, because you have to put out your mind
Definitely.
what happened.
Yeah.
And I think meditation gives you that opportunity to process your day, because so much happens, you get bombarded,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
With constant interactions, constant things, you don't even have time to process. So now you're exhausted, you want to go to bed, but your mind can't turn it off because you want to process.
For sure.
Oh yeah, this happened, that happened. It's a challenge. It is a challenge.
Let's see. You're so good. You answered all of my questions. Do you have any questions, Sarah?
Should we do like the advice one?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Alright. So, what kind of advice would you give someone who is like going into anything kind of business related, or even in this field specifically?
Do your homework, do your due diligence as far as what's in the area, what is popular in the area, because you don't want to go somewhere where what we do is taboo. You want to know your community.
Interesting.
You want to know what they're open to. So you really have to know your
Know your
area.
demographics too,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? And your target market of who you are actually looking to help. Right? So
Mhm.
the karate could be all ages, 5 and up. The holistic piece of it could be any age too, but you're really tailoring it to the specific groups that are in your area, or what you want to accomplish with them.
We used to talk about getting a Reiki mobile and traveling around, but there's areas that would not accept, like you have areas that wouldn't accept such, you have, I don't know what the words are, like some areas would not welcome you because it's against either their belief system or the religions and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, like we're pretty open here, the tri-state area, you're pretty open, but you can go into other parts of the country and you wouldn't be well received.
Right. So you have to sort of see what your market is, if it's mainstreamed or not. This area didn't have a lot of like holistic, types of programs. I don't know about the karate piece of it, but then the market starts to get flooded. So then it's almost like, okay, this is what we do. You'll draw on those people that are supposed to be here with you, and they'll be drawn to you. That's one piece of it. And then you start to reinvent yourself and say, okay, what else can we do to bring this out to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Oh, okay. I did have the question about like the community aspect. Like, a lot of the people we've been interviewing, they just like you were speaking to. It's their favorite part, you know, connecting with people on a face-to-face level. So, you know, you said that it's hard to market yourself sometimes. Yeah. So how do you keep that community connection, especially since you just moved to a new location?
Well, you know, our big connection is Reading. We're known in Bethel. We have connections in Ridgefield, but not as much. There's other facilities and things in Ridgefield. But through your town's community, like they know me from Sensei June. I used to coach, you know, when my kids were young. And, you know, the people you meet along the way, I guess. And when we're asked, like, to donate to the PTA, so you donate a healing, you donate,
that's cool.
you know, so it's just being part of the community. And like when they ask for, you know, a donation or whatever we can do to help, or the school, you know, we were asked to come into the elementary school for the paras and for the teachers to give them tools to help them through their day with the challenges they face. So we all need it. It's not a young thing, an old thing. Everybody needs a way to find out how to bring peace, because I think everybody's struggling. You know?
For
They're
sure.
overwhelmed with your own personal life, then your job and kids, and you know.
We do a lot of clinics, so we'll send out, like through emails or our newsletter, we'll post things, you know, out there, like down at the coffee shop or at the market, you know, saying we're offering a free clinic, you know, come in and we'll give you a healing, you know, 20 to 30 minutes, that sort of thing. So it's sort of like the outreach to the community. Sometimes they just walk in off the street, you know, and looking for something also. But like June said, we do a lot of fundraising in that sense, where we offer different services for, you know, healings or karate or, you know, meditation. We just sort of put it out there.
And how do you feel as your age group coming up the ranks? Are you open, familiar with meditation, healing? Or is that new to you guys, like Reiki and learning how to get a healing, and what does that mean?
Or do you think it's voodoo? Or woo-woo? Or woo-woo? Voodoo or woo-woo? One of the two.
Like, I think, I've heard more about, like, in terms of meditation, because I think our teachers, they are starting to use it a little bit more. Like, I know my math.
Did you have Mr. Rivers?
Yeah, Mr. Rivers. I had a math
he does
teacher.
it.
Yeah. So, but like, I don't know, other types of healing I'm not, like, as familiar with. I haven't really experienced any of that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I agree.
We teach it. We teach Reiki 1. You learn about your body, because you have your physical body. You have what's called your energy body. And you know how some days you have a great day, you feel invincible, and other days you're barely getting out of bed, right? You know, it's all about our biorhythms and our energy, and so much affects our energy. One is environmental and your diet and everything else. The other is emotional, how our emotions affect us. There's actually a book on healing your body, A to Z, and for every physical ailment, there's an emotional component.
Oh,
And it's
interesting.
like, if you had appendix, it could be this reason. If you have this, it's this reason. If you have migraines, if you have this, and it's I would say we've been doing this for 12 years. 80% of the time, even more, is right on, and they give you a new thought process. So it's, a lot of it is our state of mind, and how we can work through an issue, and not get caught in it, you know, fear and despair. We all do it, you know? And it's not like, I guess the best example too, and I learned this from my mom, in high school. There's a good friend of mine, and I was like, hey, good morning, like, say if it was you, good morning, and you gave me the cold shoulder. Well, right away I went into, what did I do wrong? She doesn't like me anymore, you know, the whole bit. So I went home and I was feeling really sad. No, so-and-so doesn't like me anymore. And my mother said, well, did you do something? I said, no. Did you ever think that maybe they're having a bad day? Why don't you ask, are you okay? So that helped me to, and I started asking, are you okay? You having a bad day? And then all of a sudden I realized this person's struggling. It's not about me. It was about they're having a hard day, and they're barely keeping it together. So we look all the time for feedback from everybody. This one doesn't like me, this one does, and it really has nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big lesson for me. It really freed me from the suffering of being an adolescent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because right away we think, oh, they must not like us, or
Yeah,
whatever we go
something
through.
I did.
You know? Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I don't know why we got on that. But